Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And yes, it's a transfer show. Sorry for the late putting out of this show. And this was due to, obviously, Pete having to cancel his show tonight due to unforeseen circumstances. And so I thought, rather than that, I'll just plug the gap and I'll do one tonight instead. So here we are. Tonight I'm joined by my regular co-host, Roly. And I've got a guest on tonight in Paul. How are you guys? All right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
I'm quite tired. I've been up since 3:30.
Oh God! So you've had a late day, long day then.
Long day, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get into the show, if you do like what you see, then please do smash that like. It really does help the channel up the search results. So do smash them likes. Thank you very much. Also, if you are brand new to the channel, it's free to do so. Smash that subscribe and come and join this great community we have here. And the bell notification that will tell you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. You can also become a member for 99p per month. So if you click the join button, you can do it that way. Or if you want to make a donation to the channel, you can click the $sign, the super chat option, and do it that way also. So I'm currently on 725 subscribers. So I've gone through the 700 barrier today. So thank you very much to everybody who subscribed from the past and present. So thank you very much indeed. And we're going to just go to some comments before we start the show. Sefton came on at 8 o'clock to say have a great show because he's on his way to work. Yeah, will do, Sefton. Jake with that bloody picture. People whinging about transfers already. Do you know what it is, Jake? There's a long way to go in this window. And I just wish people would just calm down a touch. Andrew says, doesn't he mean Russell Grant? Mighty Win says, hi guys, does anyone watch football's biggest football scandal yet? I reckon City's getting demoted. I haven't seen it yet. I've got to watch it. I just haven't had time. I've been busy this weekend. But yeah, I'm going to get to watch it at some point. BS says, evening Tony, Roly and Paul. Is Pete on another date? No, Pete's had a problem at home in his kitchen. So obviously he's got to get that sorted out. And it was just unfortunate he had to cancel his show tonight, which was very sad, but he is going to reschedule it for another day. Ben says, hi, Tony, how are you? Any news on Tonali and good Gordon goal before? As far as everybody's aware, Tonali signs in the next couple of days, I think, so just keep an eye out for that one. And we'll come on to the game in just a moment.
I think he might be coming over on Wednesday.
Kate says, hi Tony, Roly and Paul. How's it all going from Kate and Jonathan? Yeah, very well, Kate and Jonathan. And I hope Jonathan's bearing up after the sad news of the other day as well, Kate. So our thoughts are still with you. Mark says, no panic buys at Newcastle. Rumours 2 new signings next week. Neil says, wow, Tony, congrats on 700 subscribers. Can't believe you're on 725 already. That's amazing, man. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely fantastic. The channel's going from strength to strength, and and that's absolutely brilliant. Any news on Tonali? I think Roly's just covered it. Ben says, what do you think of Mount to Man United? I bet Big John be happy. Do you know what it is, Ben? I don't understand that one because I work with a Man U fan, and he said to me, why are they signing Mason Mount? He says, unless they say something in Mason Mount that's different and fits in with Man United style of play, maybe, but other than that, he doesn't know. So he's not happy with it. Jake says, burnt the toast, Pete. Mighty Mag, evening, Tony, Roly and Paul. Also, chat as Tony, the Diaby name was getting kicked out about not long ago. Can you see him being looked at? It's all been quiet about him, but again, who knows? Jody says, evening. Oh, good evening to you, Jody. Hope you're well. Kate says, yeah, still very upset, still, Tony, but thank you from Jonathan. Yeah, no problem, Jonathan. No worries, mate. And thank you for becoming a member, by the way, as well, of the channel. Andrew says, good evening. Good evening to you as well, Andrew. Yes, so I'm going to quickly go on. I mean, look, England under-21s played Portugal tonight at 5 p.m. It was a bit dodgy trying to get on because they lost the pictures and then we got onto it. But, England played well in that first half. A great finish from Anthony Gordon, playing as a striker yet again. Even though he's not a natural striker. It's weird because England are playing with no strikers at the minute. But I thought it was a very good performance from England, especially the first half. They were the better team than Portugal. Second half, Portugal came out all guns blazing, and you could see they were ready to come out and attack and attack and attack. And it was wave after wave from Portugal, and they were the better side the second half. So you could see this was actually a game of two halves. I thought England did well. I mean, James Trafford, that goalkeeper, at Man City's got another gem there. I think he's going to go far in the game. But he pulled off a couple of cracking saves in that game. And, England now managed to get through. I thought the referee was a bit dodgy. I think a couple of yellow cards weren't yellow cards in all honesty. But again, England are through. They're in the semi-finals and they play Israel on Wednesday, 5 p.m. kickoff. And if you remember, they beat Israel last week 2-0 with goals from Anthony Gordon and Emile Smith-Rowe. So, Israel won't fancy facing England yet again. So it's going to be an interesting one. That I'll come to you first, Paul, being the guest. I don't know did you see the England game? If you didn't, great result again, isn't it? And still no goals.
Yeah, it's a great result. I didn't see the game, but I've seen the team, and I think it's crazy that we haven't got a natural striker in that team, because Gordon's naturally a winger, and you look at that team and it's just amazing in every sector. It's got a class midfield, a class forward positioning. It's got good defence, and even the bench is good. It's got Oliver Skip on it and stuff. So it's really surprising when I've got a striker on the pitch.
They did leave a striker on the bench, Cameron Archer.
Aye. I didn't know about him, but to be fair, I've only just seen the team sheet for the first time today.
Yeah. And Israel on Wednesday, so let's hope we win it. Roly, thing is, the guys are coming back to pre-season. Anthony Gordon's not come back to pre-season yet because he's still on international duty. And I've got the feeling, I don't know about you, I think if England get to next Saturday's final, even though Eddie Howe might say to Anthony Gordon, take time off, I don't think Anthony Gordon will. I think Anthony Gordon will want to get back to training to keep his fitness up, ready for the new season. And I think that's the type of guy Anthony Gordon is. Roly, what was your thoughts on that game? Did you see it? Or
I saw most of it. I saw sort of the last 15 minutes or so of the first half and all the second half. It's an interesting game. As you say, a game of two halves. The bit I saw in the first half, we looked in control, playing it around nicely. Solid. I think we're solid in the second half. We haven't got a natural striker. I think Gordon played the role really well. So that's an interesting tidbit for us going forward. The second half, Portugal threw the kitchen sink at us. On most parts, we defended well. And when they did get through, Trafford was there. So, it's a good all-round performance. They put a shift in, which they're going to have to do. So, onwards and upwards to Israel on whenever the next game's played.
Wednesday, 5 p.m. Wednesday. I bet British broadcasters now are gutted now they didn't bid enough for these Euros, because had they put the money in and had it televised, they would have been making a fortune back, because people would have been watching it, So I think they've missed a trick there. Sky, BBC, ITV, they've all missed a trick there. They could have been televising this competition, especially if England go on and win it. They'll be absolutely gutted.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
the standards of the under 21s and stuff, the quality's getting higher as well. So
yeah, it's the first. I mean, England have played Portugal 4 times in the Euros in the under-21s and lost every one. So this is the first time they've beat them in 5. So that's not bad going. What a time to beat them. And I think Lee Carsley's got a good side there and he's doing well as manager.
Yeah.
So, and there's some talent there as well, Again, it was Gibbs White assist that set up Anthony Gordon for the goal. So the Gibbs White Gordon thing seemed to work well, doesn't it?
I must admit that my views on Gibbs White changed at the beginning of the season. I think, why the hell have Forest dropped so much money on him? And by the end of the season, I understood why. He's a really good player.
Yeah. I'm just going to dip in some comments. Paul says, any names that's in the press papers, Twitter, who we are linked with, we won't sign. Ben says, Tony, you, Pete and Roly make me so happy. I like watching news every day when you're live. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, I know I've had a couple of pre-records this weekend. Yesterday, I was out for the day yesterday. PD says, pipe was blocked as well, but all sorted now. A lesson learned. Don't put food down the sink. Absolutely, Pete. So glad you got it sorted, mate. And repeat that, says Andrew. Jody says the media will have linked us to every single Manly's dog, but only those at the club will know exactly who or we are wanting to sign. Do you know what? That's absolutely spot on, Jody. He says, I didn't watch the game, but saw Gordon's goal, which was great play, yeah.
It was a good finish.
Anthony Gordon will be banging on Eddie Howe's door demand to be playing against the Heat on the 15th. Yes, he will be. Absolutely, because he'll want to keep going. Mighty Win says Cameron Archer as a striker. As some prospect, I've got a feeling Emery might be using him this season. Phil at Dark Horse's tricky first fixture, though, me thinks. Yeah, could be. It could be right on that one. Hello to you, Newcastle Daily. Paul Stone says we should be watching the France game next. The next French Gems, for example. Thuram is playing tonight. Wow, excellent. Mighty Mag says, I agree, Tony, about Gordon. Be straight back. He'll be fighting for a place. Remember that interview at the end of the season? He said he is going to work out. I mean, look, he did say last week that he wanted to play as many games for England. So hopefully they'll go all the way in this competition. Because he feels that the game we play at Newcastle is high intensity, which he's not used to, which is great. The lad to actually come out and admit this, and that he feels that he's getting tired too easily, so he wants to boost his fitness. So, do you know what? What better way? He went down with cramp tonight, but he's okay. What's your Instagram, says Daly? I haven't got an Instagram, mate. I should have one, though. Thought you had a Milan fan on there, says Jake. Well, he's a Toon fan, but he's got a Milan shirt on. I think it's in case we get any Milan fans on, so you can wind them up. Do you think James Trafford will be a good keeper if looked at high? Do you know what, Ben? I think he's going to be a tremendous goalkeeper, and Man City have got a gem there on their hands. He went to Bolton on loan last season. He wasn't even meant to be the first choice for England, but because he's worked his way in there, they've started him in this tournament. He wasn't favourite to start this tournament, and I think he's been absolutely terrific. So yeah, and I tell you what, I would take Levi Colwill, but the word is Chelsea ain't selling him because Pochettino wants him in his team next season. He rates him highly, so but yeah, James Trafford, I think he's going to be a terrific goalkeeper. So yeah,
just so everyone knows, semi-final of the under-21s. They're in the second minute with 2 minutes of stoppage time. France 1, Ukraine 2.
Wow,
that's a surprise.
That is a surprise, isn't it? Right. One player that was linked to us, but obviously won't be coming to us because apparently he's on his way to Dortmund. And that's this guy here, Felix Mecha. So he's apparently on his way to Dortmund. So I just thought I'd put that one out there. Right. Now then, I want to quickly just touch base before I get into the first transfer rumour. I just want to quickly touch base with you guys, and I want to know your thoughts. So I'll come to you again first, Paul. Yesterday we saw the launch of this great kit, nice away kit, which looks absolutely fantastic. Now, I've personally said I'm sick of people calling it the Saudi kit. I've seen a couple of channels calling it the Saudi kit, and I'm like, come on, it's not the Saudi kit, it's the Newcastle United away kit. And opposition fans will call it a Saudi kit, but it's not even the same as a Saudi kit. It's more green like a Plymouth or a Saint Etienne, or I mean, what's your thoughts on that kit?
Well, at first when I seen it leaked, I thought it was a goalkeeper kit, but after seeing it now, like I think it does look lush. Like I like the patterns on it, the design, the colour. It's a nice tint of green, and I'll definitely be buying it. It's not a Saudi kit because, like we say, we've had green kits in the past many times.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a coincidence. The past 2 years we've had green kits, and we've had the Saudis for 2 years as well. But I wouldn't look into it further than that. I just think it's a nice kit. It'll be a bit questionable next season if we get another green kit. But at the minute it looks fine. I think it's all right. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 93 we had a green kit. We've had them in the 80s. So at the end of the day, having a green kit is nothing new.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a green kit a few years ago under Puma. I think it was when we beat Sheffield United away, didn't we? When Andy Carroll scored, I think, and if I remember rightly. We had that dark green kit, didn't we? So, it's not unusual to have had a green kit in the past. So, these opposition fans who like to keep slating us and saying, Saudi green again, they need to really do their research and look into how many green kits we've actually had over the years. Roly, your thoughts on that?
I was surprised people called it the Saudi kit because it looks more like the Republic of Ireland kit when you look at the shade of green.
Yeah.
I just think it's just one of those things that people want to hate, they're going to hate. I was a bit surprised that Paul said it was a goalkeeper top because you don't look old enough to remember goalkeepers wearing green.
I'm only 25.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been a long time since goalkeepers wore green. I think it's a nice top. I like the way with the different shades of green. If people want to call it a Saudi top, let them. If the Saudi want to call it a Saudi top, great, because it'll sell more. You know what I mean? A Saudi top will make it sell more in Saudi Arabia. So, fill your boots.
Yeah. Evening to Lawrence, evening to Mason. Gareth says, good evening, Tony, Roly and guest. Good evening to you, Gareth. Hope you're well, mate. Lawrence says, I like the green one from 1920. Yeah, that's the one I was on about, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Paul says, it's a nice kit to have it myself, but it is based on the Saudi colours to help sell in the Middle East. But I don't mind at all. Just let the haters keep on hating. Exactly, Paul. That's a thing. But, but when we've got a couple of our own Newcastle channels calling it the Saudi kit, and I'm like, no, please don't. It's not the Saudi kit. Please don't call it that. Yes, we know it's based on the colours of Saudi because of the green. But, that's the difference. And the difference is, yes, it's a marketing idea for Saudi Arabia. But at the end of the day, it is definitely not the Saudi kit. And that's what I'm trying to get out there to people, The
other thing is a totally different shade. Both the shades on our kit are totally different from the shade of the current Saudi kit.
Yeah. Jody says, I couldn't care as long as I'm not wearing red and white shade. Yeah, absolutely, Jody. Absolutely, mate. I wish we could have gone from red numbers to gold numbers in all honesty. But, again, club's obviously sticking with the red numbers for now. Right, so as we promised to go into the transfers. Now then, one transfer that is being touted as that we are now threatening to walk away from is for this guy, and that is Livramento. We've put the offer in that we think he's worth. Southampton are now saying they want at least £30 million for him. The club are now threatening to walk away and say, you can stick it because we are not paying £30 million for Livramento. This is all because Chelsea have such a high sell-on clause on this guy. And this is why Southampton want to sell him for that much so they can make a bit extra money on him. So according to reports, we are on the verge of walking away from this deal and Livramento will stay at Southampton. What's your thoughts, Paul?
I think 30 million is probably 15 million too much. I think I'll pay 15 to 20 million. I'd be happy as him as a backup, but I can't see us paying 30 million for him I would see him at like an Everton or something like that.
Yeah. What about you, Roly?
When it comes to the sell-on clause, from the way I understand it, is that they pay 4 million for him, and then the actual sell-on clause is on any profit they make over 4 million.
Yeah.
That's not our problem. They entered into that agreement, and we're not going to pay more than we think the player's worth.
Mm-hmm.
If they want 30 million, then go cry me a river. We're not paying it.
Yeah.
We'll find someone else.
I mean, Geordie set the nail on the head. It's got a Newcastle crest on it, which makes it a Newcastle kit. It's not a Saudi Arabia kit, because where's the Saudi crest? Absolutely, Geordie. That is my thoughts. And BR says tonight, PD stands for plunge and drains. Ben says, I think we should make a bid for Tierney. Livramento would just be backup if he was to sign, as we already have enough right backs. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Jake says, I can have a go on blocking your pipes, Peter. Oh, Jesus, Jake. I have a big green Y front. Doesn't make them my super Saudi pants, says Andrew. Andrew, don't want to know about your big green Y fronts, mate. At least they're green, because if they were white, it does show the stains, doesn't it?
I know all too well.
So we don't want to see any white ones, Andrew. Right. Now, according to the Telegraph, they've linked us to a couple of players. Obviously, we won't get both, but we may get one or the other. They think we might go for one of these players on loan. So I'm going to put each player on, and then I'm going to ask you for your thoughts, okay? So one of the players in question, they reckon we could go for on loan, could be Conor Gallagher of Chelsea. And the second player, maybe we could go more for as a loan player as well, Calvin Phillips from Manchester City. Now, Calvin Phillips didn't really have a great season last season, in all honesty. He was injured for quite a bit of it, wasn't he? And, I mean, look, if these did come in on loan, they wouldn't really get regular football with us, because it'd probably be more like a backup option. I mean, Paul, would you take either of them on loan?
I'll definitely take both of them, because it's a direct upgrade on the substitutes that we've got for like the Bruno, Sean Longstaff, Willock, and Joe Linton. It's better than bringing on Isaac Hayden or a Matt Ritchie. It's a big improvement. It's a big step up. So I would definitely take them.
Yeah. And what about you, Roly?
Well, I don't think Chelsea will loan Gallagher to us anyway. And when you look at the main midfielders we have, if you include Tonali in that, you say Hayden and Hendrick, they're not going to be in the club one way or the other at the end of the season. So he's not. I don't think from the midfielders that we're going to have in the first team, I don't think he's a step up. He's a decent player. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I don't think Gallagher's a step up from Longstaff, which would probably be the position he would be challenging for. Calvin Phillips I'd have. I think that he's a really good player. And he potentially could start in that sixth position, which means that Tonali and Bruno will be playing further forward, which they both can. So that would be a good one if City would loan him. I don't think he particularly wants to go out on loan. So I think we probably won't end up with either of them. I'm not sure Chelsea want to do business with us. They've not shown any inclination since the takeover. So I don't think we'll end up with any of them. We might inquire.
Yeah.
But the one we're most likely to get any traction on will be Calvin Phillips, because I think that Man City don't see us as a threat to them yet. They'll find out that we are, but I think that Calvin Phillips would be quite a nice one to get.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, yeah, Phillips. I would have Phillips over Gallagher, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. So I still think Phillips has got a lot to offer. He's just not going to get the game time at City. But the thing is, so the way our club's evolving now, you're not going to get many players that are going to be getting in our team and playing regular first team football. So again, it's one of them. To be fair, I don't really rate Gallagher. Yes, he looked good at Crystal Palace, and he looked good at West Brom, but I haven't seen enough of him at Chelsea to think, oh yeah, I would like to take him.
I think
it's whether he goes missing in big games for me. I'm sorry, but I think he does. And even when I've seen him for England, I think he's not good enough. He's not good enough. I'd rather see Sean Longstaff in there for England rather than Conor Gallagher, in all honesty.
I think he falls into that bracket of when he was at Palace and West Brom. It's a decent player in mediocre company can look sensational, but when you put him in good company, he looks mediocre.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the guy hasn't got ability, but I don't think that he's. I mean, he's not the sort of player that should be playing in a top 6 club, which is why he got early games at Chelsea, because they're not a top 6 club at the moment.
I mean, Paul's right there. He says Phillips will stay at City because they're not getting race, and Gallagher's not an improvement on Longstaff. Exactly, Paul. Exactly. I mean, those talks that we were going to go into free agent Reece Nelson from Arsenal. I thought but he is signing a new deal at Arsenal because Arsenal have first option and they don't want to lose him. So
that's what I thought.
Reece Nelson. But again, if that had happened, would I have took him? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Jody said, I don't see City or Chelsea loaning first team players just because why would they want to strengthen a rival now that we are a top 6 club? That's the thing, Jody. But again, saying that, City are more friendly to us than the rest of them are. So
I mean, it's not that they strengthen other teams. It's us. It's because Chelsea just sold Havertz to Arsenal, and they'll do business with the old big 6.
Yeah,
they want to do business with us.
Absolutely.
And I think one of the funny things is that it's amazing how many players we've missed out on this transfer window, because it seems that every player that signed for a different club than us, they've beaten us to that signing, even if we've actually bid for them or not.
Yeah,
like Szoboszlai, we didn't make an offer for him because we didn't want to pay the release clause.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool activated the release clause, so we never went in for him. Maddison wanted too much money, so we didn't bid for him. I mean, it's not the players didn't snub us because they didn't have the choice.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, and it's just beggars belief the way, and I see people having a meltdown. But look, come on, let's not have a meltdown. Like I said, I think I put it on my Twitter post earlier. Look, let's be patient with the transfer window. The transfer window, the international window just opened yesterday. So now things will start moving a lot more. But just have faith. Have faith. That's all I'm saying. Just be patient and the signings will come. I mean, Paul says Chelsea, City have already improved Arsenal, Man U. I don't mean to sound awful, but I don't think Kai Havertz is that great, in all honesty. I don't rate the guy.
Maybe he's just
whether he pulls it off for Arsenal, I do not know, but I think he's overrated.
I think he was at the wrong club at Chelsea. I mean,
maybe.
I think that our fan base needs to remember the words of that wise man, Mirdad Gadusi, patience and virtue.
Coffee says, hi, Tony, Roly, Paul and all. Good evening, Coffee. Hope you're well. Mark says, Newcastle wore Brazil strip in the 70s. Yes, they did. You're absolutely spot on with that one.
Mirandinha, that.
We wore it in the 80s when Mirandinha came.
Yes.
We've worn it on several occasions.
JB says we try to get to Bosley for less than the release clause. Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
Trust the process, says Jody.
The thing with Sabozlai is that whilst the release clause was active, you can negotiate about what you do when it finishes. But if someone activates it and you don't,
which Liverpool did.
Yeah, so they've had to pay that. Was it 60 odd million up front?
60 million.
They have to pay that up front. That's what the release clause is. Now, if you want to negotiate the structure of payments, which we need to do because of FFP, it's better for us to wait for the release clause to end and then negotiate maybe a higher fee, but in installments. But Liverpool activated the release clause.
Yeah. Good evening, Monty Magpie says your subs are flying up now, Tony, mate. Hopefully it hits 1K before the season kicks off. Thank you very much indeed, Monty. Jan says for the Brazilian, it opens on the 14th of July.
Yeah.
Paul says we've improved signing by Tonali. We haven't lost anyone. We will be fine. Absolutely, Paul. Exactly. That's a thing. So França can be on his way. Well, there's other clubs in for França as well. I'm going to talk about another Brazilian in a moment. Paul says Havertz, if he doesn't play as number 9, then you will see the best out of him. That's the thing, Paul. He might do better for Arsenal. We don't know, but just from what I've seen at Chelsea, I don't rate him. That's all I'm saying. But again, I'll reserve judgment and see how he gets on at Arsenal.
The thing is with Chelsea, they were playing him as a striker, weren't they? And that's not his position at all. He's a number 10, I reckon. And Chelsea strikers tend to be cursed. They just can't do good in Chelsea teams.
Yeah. So one player we're being linked with as well, which is coming out today. Now, apparently this player was on his way to Sampdoria for £7 million, which now I've looked at that and I think I found it hard to believe that they're selling him for like 7 million. Because this guy I think he's a great player. Yeah. A terrific midfielder. And if friends are selling him for 7 million to Sampdoria, the rumour is that he was on his way to Sampdoria for 7 million till we've come in and said we'll give £10 million. And Rennes have said to Sampdoria, whoa, hang on a minute, you're not having him. We've just had an offer of 10 million for him, so hang on. Whether that's true or not, I do not know. Again, this could be rumours, but this is the guy here, and it's Lovro Majer, who, if you look at him, he does look a bit like Luka Modric, but the Croatian midfielder. I think he's a great midfielder. I mean, he's 25 years of age. His strengths are his high pressing and playmaking. He can play midfield, centre and attacking midfield. Last season for Rennes, he is box to box as well. He started 18 out of 32 games, got 2 goals and 5 assists. His accurate passing per game is 82%, so not too bad. He's not a bad player at all. I rate this guy. But I'm thinking at 10 million, I don't think you're going to get him for 10 million. I can't believe Rennes are selling him, considering he's got a contract till 2027 as well. I can't believe Rennes are selling him for that low. I really can't. I'll be very surprised if they are, because he's worth at least 20-25 million quid. I mean, what's your thoughts, Paul?
I was about to say, I think we were probably going with a 15-17 million bid, and they'll probably ask for more than that, about what you've just said. But I've heard his name quite a bit. He is like he was a wonder kid on Football Manager, and I've used him myself, and he does pull results off for me. But I think he'd slot into the team quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Roly, your thoughts? I mean, it seems a bit strange how they're selling them for such a low price. I just can't understand that one. And I don't know if that's just media talk, because to me that doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. Not even 7 million to Sampdoria sounds right in my eyes. Sorry.
I don't know an awful lot about him. First I heard of him really was today, and I'd look at his YouTube videos just to get a little flavour. Good close control. Looks like there's a player there. 7 million, has he fallen out with Rennes? Do they just want to get rid of him? Have they got money troubles? Because that just seems... I mean, you pay 7 million for a championship player, and he's not a championship player.
Yeah,
If we go in at 10, if Sampdoria have bid 7, we go in at 10. Might get him for under 15.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see him necessarily as starting, but he'd be a valuable squad member.
Definitely.
And a difference maker off the bench.
Yeah. That, but I still can't see how they're going to sell him for that such low price. That's what I just can't understand.
I don't understand that either.
I think they might put some stupid clauses in there, something like a massive sell-on clause or something.
Yeah.
Just to try and recoup the bit of the feedback, because I know he'll probably go for probably 30 to 60 million once he comes good.
Yeah. Clark, yes, you did say that, and I do remember this, Clarky, when he says he thought if Szoboszlai goes to Liverpool after the Carvalho loan, and you got that spot on, mate.
Well, I don't think it. I think the loan was separate because they had to trigger the release clause to get him. But you're right, he's gone to Liverpool.
Mancunian Way, good evening to you. Hope you're well, mate. He says, good evening, Tony and all. Why I've said to many just enjoy the process and journey. It isn't make top 4 and buy all superstars. It will take time. Enjoy the year of calibre of players. Go up, enjoy it. Exactly, Mancunian. This has been my point as well, because at the end of the day, I've always said, look, I mean, last season, before the season started, I did say we'll finish 7th. That's what a good season would have been for me, and to win the Carabao Cup. Now, we nearly won the Carabao Cup, but we didn't quite make it. And we actually finished top 4, which totally surprised me because I didn't even have us down as a top 4 team for last season. Now, I'm not expecting us to go out there and buy a whole load of superstars because, one, I know we can't because of FFP. We're strangled because of 14 years of mismanagement under the former owner, who was a tyrant. Yes, he left the club in a good condition, money-wise, but he was an asset stripper. He put his own sponsorship into the club, which he didn't really pay for. He changed the name of the stadium, didn't put no money into paying that, So, So, no, but, I'm one of these. I know where we are at the moment. And while, yes, it's not great that we can't get these great players in, but we've got to work with what we can with the FFP. But your comment is absolutely spot on there, buddy. And yeah.
I mean, basically, we're following the Man City model, trying to cut out the mistakes they made in the early days.
Clarky says Liverpool could sign Szoboszlai on a structured deal, activate the release clause last minute, and then ask about paying it over a longer period if RB aren't happy.
Well, he's actually signed, so they structured payments take a long time to negotiate, and they were there in two days. They activated I don't think they've negotiated. That's my personal opinion, because it happened so quickly, because there's all rumours that they're going to make a bid. Then they told them the day before the day of the clause that they're going to activate it, which leaves no room to negotiate payment. It's all signed, sealed, and delivered. So they've dumped the money.
Mancunian Me also says Gabri Veiga's on their list as well.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Liverpool just pay the release clause. Yeah, absolutely, Clarky. Was separate, but they still had talks. David says, I'd love us to go in for Ryan Shirky. He scored again tonight. The guy is going to be world class. Yeah, again, that's a player we've looked at, isn't it? And again, yeah, I would as well. Why not? Good shout, David. Paul says, hopefully they're bringing 3 or 4 more that we are ready for all their matches next season. We struggle with injuries in the middle, which left Howe not choice but to play out of position. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. You're absolutely spot on there, mate. We do need to add to strength. RB are about to pocket £86 million from us, says the Mancunian Way. Wow.
Yeah, I forget the name of the guy, but there's I think it's a mid. You can tell me which position he plays, Mancunian Way, but
who's that for?
Forget the guy's name. Well, I've seen that they're going to drop sort of 80, 86. Well, I thought it was 80 million on this guy. I mean, I think that's why they could Leipzig could afford to wait, because they knew they're going to sell. I've already bought it coming in, so they're in no rush to sell. If the release clause had ended, they could have negotiated a higher fee.
Yeah.
They were going. I think they're probably a bit disappointed that Liverpool activated it.
Paul says we had a superstar every season. Bruno last season, Tonali this season, next season, and Mbappe on a free.
Certainly take him.
Yeah. Ben says, did Skriniar sign for PSG? No confirmation he signed for PSG as yet. Nothing's been signed and sealed, and that's according to media sources as well. So again, while he's not signed for them, we don't know. I mean, he could have signed some sort of contract. We don't know, but they just might not have announced it yet. But I tell you what, I mean, I didn't see he was linked to us yesterday. I just said it was a name that I could throw out there that, I would take him if there was a chance of getting him. But if he is going to PSG, they are getting a quality defender. But on a free, I would take him, definitely. Skriniar not 100% announced yet, but apparently all done, says Clarky. There we go. Guardiol, says Paul. Yeah. Gvardiol, yeah. I would take him, but that's the one that's gone to City, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, that's him,
right. That's the one who's gone to City. Alan says, think they have to add 3 or 4 ace squads, not good enough for extra games. You're absolutely spot on, Alan. Yeah, we do need that little bit strength and depth, mate. Definitely. Liverpool had to borrow the money for that player. Bias says Skriniar has agreed personal terms, but has taken a week off before joining PSG. Right, okay, so he's having a holiday. Well, can't blame the guy. And just want to say thank you to Monty Magpie for becoming a new member of the channel. So thank you very much indeed. I can't believe Man U is going to sign De Gea another deal. Well, apparently he's been offered to Saudi as well. So we don't know what's going on there. Yes, it's Guardiola, the centre-back. Yeah, he's a very good centre-back as well, Mancunian way. So, you've got a good in there. Right, so I'm going to go to another player now. And this is another player that we have been linked with in the past, apparently, which I must have missed this link somewhere along the line. I did mention this guy this morning. There he is on screen. His name is Pablo Maia. He plays for Sao Paulo in Brazil. He's rated at £5 million. So that's all he cost you, £5 million. He's 21 years of age. And in the Brazilian league this season, he's box to box as well, by the way. He plays defensive midfield and midfield central. He's aerial duels and long balls are his strengths, and he doesn't have any weaknesses. He started 10 out of 12 games. He scored 2 goals this season. No assists as yet, but I mean, like I say, he's playing from centre midfield. His accurate passing per game is 91%. He's had 3 cards this season, 1 yellow, 1 second yellow, and 1 red card. So a little bit of ill discipline. But again, he's 21 years of age. He's not a bad... He doesn't look too bad in the 21. It's a nice age to have them in. We've seen the model with Brighton. We know what Brighton do with players. We've seen them bring players in from South America, Enciso, Caicedo, players like that, and they've hit the ground running. And again, this could be one who comes in. He maybe doesn't start games, but you've got him there on the bench. In a 21, I mean, Forest were credited with this player. But now that apparently we're looking at him, it now knocks Forest out of the running for him because obviously they say we'll get him more than Forest will. I'll start with you, Roly. What's your thoughts? 5 million. I'll take him.
I'm sorry, because you seem to say you take everybody that we feature on here. I don't know.
Oh, no, Roly, but no, listen, Roly. But when you think how many players come out of Brazil, Roly.
Yeah, I'm just ribbing you there, Tony. So. But I don't know anything about the kid. But if Dan thinks he's a good player, a good fit moving forward, I'm happy with that. For getting a price that they're comfortable paying for him. So I really don't.
Let me just put something to you at the moment, right? Before we go on about this player, right? Right, last season, Real Madrid, okay?
Yeah.
They signed a young Frenchman last season, Real Madrid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And called Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes, 40 million euros, right? And they said Camavinga, one of the best centre midfielders in world football, young midfielders, by the way. But they said there was one other midfielder which was slightly better than him, and that defender is the one defensive midfielder is the one we're talking about now, and that's Pablo Maya. Apparently, he's just a little bit better than Camavinga and would come a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts now, Roly?
Thoughts haven't changed. If Dan Ashworth wants him, that's fine by me. So I say, I mean, it's great pace if they
Possibly
say
not on a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get him at a price we want to pay, yeah, his wages won't be a problem. If we can get him for a decent fee, yeah, why not? It's a development project, and that's one of the things. We're not just looking for players that can start in the first team. We're looking for players that can develop and grow with the club. He sounds like that sort of player. And if it turns out that he's actually good enough to play in the first team as well, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. He's young enough to have a lot of the upside to develop.
Yeah.
It's all about getting him for the right price.
Yeah. I mean, what's your thoughts, Paul, on that guy, Pablo Maya?
Well, I see it as another player who would be a direct upgrade on the team. Like, obviously not for the starting team, but he would be like a direct upgrade on an Isaac Hayden. Again, it's a player that Real Madrid were looking at. So we're fighting with the big boys now for players like him, rather than failing a £1 million loan fee for Hamza Choudhury. It's a direct upgrade and it's an improvement on the whole team. So 100% I would take him for $5 million.
And people say he's that slightly bit better than Camavinga. So
exactly.
Real Madrid paid 40 million for Camavinga. So, you know, it's not a bad one. I mean, David says Pablo's stats are insane. They are. It's all ill-disciplined in Brazil. There's a match the other day with 10 players sent off, 9 of them in 99th minute. But there you go. Yeah.
So bad.
Clarky says, Roly ribbon, Tony sounds wrong. I mean, it's a shame Foxy's not in the chat tonight, because I tell you what, Foxy would have come up and told us about this player as well. He would have had his say on him, because it would have been brilliant. Yeah. Matty Longstaff from Motherwell's a good shout. From Motherwell. Clarky says Camavinga looks world class, to be fair. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? I mean, he's going to get better. But if we could get this player in, say, for £5 million, it's a low risk in my eyes, because if it doesn't work out, you flog him back to Brazil and you probably double your money. So, you know,
even if we pay $10 million for him, he's still direct upgrade on Isaac Hayden.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to downgrade with him.
Isaac Hayden hasn't been part of the squad for over a season. He's not going to be next season.
Yeah.
So look at the squad that we had last season. He's one that's going to be. He's in the similar sort of situation that you're looking at Elliot Anderson.
Yeah.
I really felt for Isaac Hayden last season, because he had an injury-hit season at Norwich. A guy I worked with who's a Norwich fan, he said he was gutted not to see him playing. He says, because when they signed him, he did say to me, he said, look, he says, he's a class act, Isaac Hayden. He says, he'll do this team wonders. And unfortunately, he's had injury after injury, so it's just been unfortunate.
He's not going to get anywhere near he won't be in the 25-man squad. So that's what I'm concerned with, the 25-man squad. And it's not, well, I don't know, but from what I know, you can't say straight away it's a definite upgrade for anyone we've got in the 25-man squad. But how old is he? 20?
21.
21? Well, he doesn't.
21.
Does he count? He might count for the 25-man squad. He might not. But he's a development project. A bit like Yakuba Minter. He's someone for the future. So it's not someone that I've not seen him play. Don't know anything about him other than what Tony said. If the club want him, they'll know what to do with it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. I was going to say, like, we're too stacked in the midfield position now. We need to be looking at wingers, left back, and the right side of centre back, ideally. Not like more midfielders, because we're too stacked at the minute, especially with Tonali coming in.
Yeah, I mean, if you want him as one for the future,
definitely.
Buy him to play in the cup games and stuff, or send him out on loan.
Yeah,
like we've done with Minto. Yeah, great, no problem. But he'd have his work cut out to break into our midfield.
Definitely.
Maybe good enough to do that. I don't know. But
I mean, now according to reports, this is the next player coming on screen. Got a few coming on screen, but this is the next one on screen. Now, according to reports, we have actually spoken with this player's representatives. And because I just say the spoken with representatives doesn't mean to say we're saying them, it just means we've had a chat with them. He has a release clause of £35 million. Technically, that's not out of our reach to pay, because if you look at our shirt, there's £32.5 million worth on there straight away, because you've got the front sponsor, which is £25 million, the shirt, the sleeve sponsor, £7.5 million. So there's £32.5 million. You've only got to add £2.5 million to it, technically. So this is the player in question. That's Gabri Veiga, 21-year-old Spanish midfielder who, I tell you what, I rate this lad highly. I really do. I know the Mancunian me was just saying before, Man City's on the radar as well. His strengths are his long shots. He started 28 out of 36 games, scored 11 goals and 4 assists, and picked up 6 yellow cards and 1 red card last season. I mean, look, it doesn't sound a lot, £35 million, but it could be something the club could just say, do you know what, we'll pay it and get him, because they obviously know what the parameters of FFP are. So I'll start with you, Paul. I mean, Gabri Veiga, is it doable, £35 million?
I definitely think so, especially like you said, with the sponsorship money coming in and pretty much equating to his transfer fee. It will be spot on. Him as a player, I would say he would be likely to our version of Yaya Toure if he came in. He's like a proper box-to-box midfielder. He's a big powerhouse as well, and he likes to get forward and attack. And I think he 100% will be starting in our team, to be honest. Like Jolan probably pushed out wide, Bruno and Gabri Veiga in the middle, then Tonali just sitting behind them. That's how I would see it lining up.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout, But the thing is, I think with the Tonali signing, Eddie Howe's now got that fluidity that he wants in the team. So when Tonali's pushing forward, Bruno sits back. When Bruno wants to push forward, Tonali will sit back. So you've got that fluid motion all the way through, which then disrupts other teams. Roly, Gabri Veiga, is it doable, £35 million?
Yeah, I think it's doable. It's when you look at Tonali, you're talking, what's that, about 50 million? So that's about a 10 million hit for FFP. You've got 35. That brings us up to 45, and we're supposed to have a limit of 75. So there's still plenty of room for other structured deals.
And remember, we've got that overdraft facility as well.
Yeah. I mean, they'll know how to do it with an FFP if they want to do it.
Would you take him, Roly? Yes or no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it just reminds me of that. Someone, I think it's a Tottenham fan, tweeted that we're going to have an insane. It's taking the piss saying we're going to have an insane midfield and have, was it Maddison, Barella, and Szoboszlai taking the piss. Our midfield's going to be Bruno, Tonali, and someone else, which is still going to be insane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know what you're saying, but Tottenham fans. I mean, they're just deluded people, aren't they? It's like that video I showed the other day. That guy. I mean, it's just absolutely dreadful. And whether he's gone off Twitter altogether, I do not know, because I've not even looked to see if he's still on Twitter.
I would after that.
A lot of people haven't seen this video, but there he is.
James Maddison rejected Looney Tunes to join the mighty Tottenham. Didn't want to play with Botman. James Maddison on who Chris Eric.
I just thought I'd put that little clip on. Yeah. I mean, the guy looks an absolute tool. He looks like he probably lives in his granny's basement or somewhere like that. You know,
you didn't even
looks like somebody who doesn't get out much. Can't even sing a 90s song properly. It's probably one of the most cheap songs you can ever have, unless he thinks he's an Ibiza, by the way. But he's
just cringing it.
If I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be cringing at that. If that was a Newcastle fan that had done that, I'd be like, "Oh my god, no, don't do this, please, bloody hell, Jesus!"
If Adam P done that, I would celebrate.
We're classier than that, though. That's why we're classier. Absolutely, we are classier. Just going to quickly nip into some comments. Clarky says, question, after Tonali, how much money do you think we have in the transfer kitty to bring in barring outgoings? That's the thing, Clarky. I don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, that's 75 million. Now, I know Eddie Hope from Tyneside Life, and I know some people are not keen on him and things like this, right? He thinks Craig Hope was right when he said we only had 75 million. Because he says, if you look at what George Culkin said, after outgoings, we could have up to £150 million to spend. And I'm thinking, well, hang on, where's the 85 million? Where's like 75 or 80 million pounds worth of outgoings from Newcastle? Because the only one that I could see that could really fetch some money would probably be ESM. Other than that, who else is going to fetch money? Jamal Lascelles going to fetch you 20, 30 million? Not really. Are you going to get 20 million for Caldwell? No, not a chance. You know, are you going to, so I just think no. I really don't think I know how much we've got, to be fair, but I know we've got that overdraft facility and that we can use that.
I mean, I don't know how much we've got, but I think that's the two reasons for that 70. Well, the main reason for saying getting out there that it's 75 million as our kitty is to tell people that we're not going to be splashing the cash.
Yes.
So if you come up with a silly transfer price, we're going to walk away. But I also think that the 75 million, this is just my personal opinion, isn't the total amount we're going to spend, but it's the FFP hit for this year, for this transfer window. Because we have to be careful because we're into the second year of FFP. So once we get into the third year of FFP, all the low spending that Ashley didn't do, all those years where we had that low outgoings, that comes to an end. So you start getting the transfer windows since the takeover. So that's why we need to keep the spending lower at the moment, because as Tony says, he ran as a business, he ran the club well, but he did nothing with the financials. I mean, our income from our commercial revenues was static, where everybody else is in the Premier League, sort of like went up sort of like tenfold in comparison. It's just criminal.
We've got a comment here from You Talk I Comment. This Newcastle fans. Yes, we are a Newcastle fan channel here. I don't know who you support, but yes, this is a Newcastle fan channel.
Ignore the Milan top. I am a Newcastle fan.
If you do like what you see, by the way, guys and girls, do smash the like. That'd be great. Thank you. And if you're new to the channel, then smash that subscribe. It is free to do so. Bia, I heard you like beer. By the way, I like what's going on with the youth setup, says Clarky, great additions, yeah. He says Gabri Veiga for City, says You Talk. Probably a City fan. Clarky says Jody Hayden will leave. Yeah, absolutely. City, of course, he says, what channel? Yeah, this is a Newcastle United channel, mate. But, we welcome any fan that wants to come on this channel and chat. Do you know what? We do not mind. We are not biased at all to any fans. We are Geordies. We welcome anybody.
Except Everton fans. No. We're welcoming to everybody.
Paul says you've got to remember transfers and wages are spread over the length of a player's contract. So 55 million for Tonali would be spread over 6 years. Yeah, absolutely. Ian says, I'll take Veiga. Yeah, definitely, Ian.
What's the change in the rules on how you can spread the payment? Has that just kicked in now? We've gone into the new calendar
I think
year?
it's over 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah, because it was over 5 years, but I don't know whether that came in now that we've gone into the new financial year for football, where it started now, or it started at the beginning of the window, because if it starts now, that will explain why Chelsea are giving out these 8-year contracts still.
Yeah, Alan says more game time at the tune for Veiga than City. Yeah, absolutely.
See, our owners on stupid. They wouldn't spend our whole transfer kitty on one player. They're not going to spend 65 million when we've only got 75 million to apparently spend. They're not that stupid.
I mean, Paul's hit the nail there on the head. Everton's lost £300 million plus lol to Corona. Yeah, bad management as well. He says Newcastle must buy Rashford, Odegaard, Casemiro and Trent Alexander for Champions League. I can't see that happening, mate. No, not at all. But I like your thinking. But whatever you're having, I'll have some of that as well. Bia says, I think there's another 100 million in the kitty, depending on deal structures. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's all
That's exactly why we're not playing release clauses.
Maxi to the Saudis for $500 million, says Bia.
Yes, please.
Gary says, Newcastle would never let on just how much they have to spend, lads. Absolutely, Gary, that's it. No club tells you how much they've got to spend. You can even go down to League Two and go to Wrexham and speak to, the owners of Wrexham and Rob McElhenney, and he wouldn't tell you how much they've got to spend next season, because they don't tell people in League Two, by the way, Wrexham's got, say, £10 million to spend because they know everybody's going to put the prices up. Nobody's that stupid. So, yeah, absolutely, Gary. And nice to see you for a while, because I haven't seen you for a while. Mark says there's a few Premier League teams would like to be careful with spending, like Everton and Man City are an investigation, yeah. Alan says only people that know our transfer budget are the people who spend it. I don't believe any media knows, or nor should they. Absolutely, Alan. Exactly, mate.
I think the reporters have been put out what they've been told to put out. They've told the kitties that, and that's a deliberate ploy by the club to say we're not spending much this transfer window.
Paul says the Premier League don't seem to care about FFP. Nothing happened to Everton, Chelsea, Villa since around 100 million since they got promoted. Yeah.
Well, Chelsea's different. Though they spent 600 million, they've actually sold a lot of players this window, which will balance a lot of that out. And they've got more to sell. And that's the difference where Chelsea are compared to us, is that they can shift players for big money where we can't. Yeah.
Clarky says we are most definitely biased, Tony. Well, what I meant, Clarky, was we're not biased to people who want to. We're not biased to people who come on here, but we are biased for our club at the end of the day, which is totally different, mate. Yeah. Bia says the payment for Tonali is not split over 6 years; it's split over whatever the terms are agreed in the contract. Yeah, absolutely spot on.
Yeah, but
Gary says, does that include Sunderland fans? Now, come on, Gary. Gary, behave yourself now. I mean, can you see a Mackham coming on here? Have you ever seen a Mackham in Milan? No, but I tell you what, I think Dan Ashworth was lost last week because I think he was looking around Milan to see if he could see a Mackham and he couldn't find one. Ian says you only have 5 years to pay a transfer fee to a club, no matter how long the contract. Yeah, definitely. And he's signing a 6-year deal. Yeah, he is, absolutely. I mean, Chelsea signed Nicholas Jackson and put him on an 8-year contract the other day. So, Chelsea are still playing the idiots that they are. Right, one player I did come up with the other day, which is a surprising link, but not only linked with us, also Man City are linked with him. Obviously, I haven't had your chance on this as well, Roly. Did mention him on Friday in the video, and I thought it was quite an unusual link because it wasn't somebody that I thought we would have been linked to, and his value is about £10.5 million. So Newcastle scouts and Man City scouts were at the Wales game watching him, and this is a guy in question. So his name is Edward Spurtian. He's Armenian. He plays predominantly left wing, so he's a great winger. Even though he's positioned as midfield centre in attacking midfield, his direct free kicks and playmaking are his strengths. He's 23 years of age, right-footed. But when you look at his heat map, he is box to box, but he plays predominantly left. He started 26 out of 28 games last season, got in Team of the Week 5 times. He scored 10 goals and 11 assists. His accurate crossing per game is 37%. Of his crosses are accurate. And he had 6 yellow cards all season and no reds. I mean, look, the questions that I want to know about this, he plays for FC Krasnodar in Russia. He's got a contract till 2026. The problem is, the world don't like Russia for what they're doing in Ukraine, and Russia are banned from trading around the world. So the question is, how do you get this player if, one, you can't give Russia any money? So there's only 2 options that Russia have there then, if this guy wants to say leave there because he wants to play in European competition, which Russia are currently banned from. So do Russia loan him? But they can't receive a fee if they loan him? Or do they release his contract or say, look, you go on a free? Because technically, they can't buy and sell because they can't get money. So, Paul, what's your thoughts?
This is a bit of a situation I've never heard of, but I think if he wanted to leave, he'd have to kick up a fuss, because I can't see Newcastle's already got enough bad press with like the Saudi links and stuff. So if we're like giving money to Russia for their players in their league, it would look even worse for us. So I couldn't see that happening.
I don't think I don't think they're allowed to take money in Russia, though. That's a thing. So
yeah.
I mean, you look at Abramovich; he couldn't take the money from the sale of Chelsea, could he? So it is a bit of a conundrum, isn't it? But I mean, I like the lad's stats. I know it's a Russian league, but I like his stats. And if he can play left wing, it means we've got another alternative on the left wing.
Yeah, certainly. That's kind of positions we need as well. So I'll be happy getting him in youth team and stuff. How old is he, did you say?
23.
I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind when you did the recorded show was the fact that it's a Russian club. And I'm sure that there's an embargo by UEFA on Russian clubs. Obviously, they're banned from Europe. I know that there's a mechanism I believe there's a mechanism for players that aren't Russian nationals, so that they can get out of contracts in Russia. Well, France have just gone 3-1 down.
France have they?
Yeah, they thought they'd equalise, but it was offside, and Spain have just scored a third.
David says, I hope you don't welcome that delusional Spurs clown on the channel, lol. Guys, lost his mate.
Goals, well.
Look, David, he wouldn't come on here, David. You probably I wouldn't want him on the channel anyway. I mean, Jesus, honestly, God. Even the voice wouldn't take him on.
But so going back to this guy playing in Russia, it's really what the governing bodies say about dealings with Russian clubs. Now, I know things like Ukrainian clubs, they're playing in Poland, so that their league's still sort of going.
Yeah.
That's why Shakhtar Donetsk are playing in Poland. Obviously, they can't play in Ukraine. But I think that because you have a lot of players in Russia who aren't Russian, and there's got to be a mechanism how that they could escape their contracts in Russia to move to another country. I don't know how that works. But,
yeah, that's a thing. I mean, 80s gamer saying, I definitely don't want anyone from Russia, thank you. I mean, the guy's not Russian, he's Armenian. It's just unfortunate he's playing in Russia, that's all. But he is desperate to play European football.
So it's like, I don't know how the mechanism works. But I'm sure there is a way for people playing in Russia to actually get out of the contracts.
I mean, the thing is, Roly, if Man City are looking at him as well, they obviously see something in him, Roly, so they wouldn't be looking at him for no reason.
I've no doubts on the player. It's just it's the actual political situation and how you get him out. And I would have thought the fact that he hasn't taken advantage of the mechanism to get out of it. The war's been going on for nearly 18 months, and it's now that he's looking to move. I'm not so sure that I'm too cool with that.
It's one of them. It's on your link, Roly, so we don't know if it's actually true or not. That's a thing.
I'm just saying that I have quite strong feelings on what's happening there. If I was playing in Russia when that happened, I would have tried to get out straight away. So, his football ability may be brilliant. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Coffee says that Spurs fan made the video as a joke. He does respect Newcastle. Is that after he got a whole barrage of abuse? That's why he backed down, was it? I don't know. I don't know, Coffee, but if that's the case, then I'll give him fair play. But again, bit of a silly video, really. Peaceful Smoke says Newcastle should sign better forwards. Your middle and defence, your midfield and defence was good last season. But as Liverpool supporter, I know you need two teams to play in the Champions League and keep up with City in the league. Yeah, we do, mate. But the thing is, it's going to take a while to get there. But we will get there one day. We're just playing catch-up. Yeah. What's wrong with people from Russia, says Clarky. No, nothing, Clarky. Nothing at all, mate. I don't have a problem if we sign somebody from the Russian league. You know, it's just how you do the business. That's the only problem. Mason says he was born in Russia, but he represents Armenia. We got excellent forwards, says Andrew. Yeah, we have. Wilson and Isak. Yeah, I agree. And Clarky says, yeah, Coffee. Adam P mentioned something like that too about the guy as well. Yeah. I mean, but again, it's another link. Right. Now, another link that's come up. And apparently...
Sorry for getting too political there, but...
yeah, no, that's fine, Roly. No worries. Right. So apparently this link, Eddie Howe is really interested in this player. And the club has just announced it has to have a massive fire sale. It has to get rid of players. They cannot demand high fees for players. They've just got to get rid if they get an offer. And apparently we're interested in him because his fees knocked down to like 17 million quid. Something's going wrong in La Liga. I blame La Liga for this in Spain, in all honesty, for clubs that are on these brinks. So Sevilla is the latest club that's having a fire sale of the whole squad. So there's the guy on screen, and that's Youssef En-Nasri of Sevilla, the Moroccan. Now he does play as a forward. He's 26 years of age. His scoring wasn't great in the league, to be honest with you. I mean, he started 17 out of 31 games and got 8 goals and 1 assist, and 4 yellow cards all season. But as a squad player and a backup striker, which you need that strength and depth, his weaknesses is his passing, but he's got no outstanding strengths. But again, you'd probably pick him up for 17 million. And apparently, according to media, by the way, Eddie Howe is a fan of this guy. I don't know an awful lot about him. I've seen him in the World Cup. He had some good games for Morocco in the World Cup. I mean, Paul, do you know anything about him?
All I know is that he does bang in the goals, to be fair. He's pretty much like a fox in the box type, from what I've seen. He's quick. He's a good finisher. But like you say, his only bad trait is his passing, because he needs the ball to his feet so he can bury it pretty much. He's not the playmaker. But as a third choice striker, I would 100% take him for 17 million.
Yeah, because if you have got to sell players. Roly, your take, and Nasri.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what's happening in La Liga. I think part of the problem is the way they do their TV revenue. Real Madrid and Barcelona take most of it, and then the rest is shared out with everybody else. If they're having a fire sale, let's fill our boots. How old is the guy?
26.
It's not a bad age. That price, you've got to consider it at that price. The only thing that I would say is, would he feel he's going to get enough game time to come? Because he'd be behind Wilson and Isaac.
Well, he'd probably play cup games, to be in all honesty, as well. He'd probably play League Cup games, FA Cup games. So
well, possibly, but yeah, but that's my only. The only thing about it is whether he feels he'll get enough game time to make it worth his while coming to us, because there are other teams there where, I mean, like West Ham would be a good place for someone like to go, because they haven't got a decent striker, and he'd play every game. But if he comes to us, he's in the rotation.
Yeah, Bias says, I agree with Roly. It's the TV revenue. I've seen Spanish TV. It's rubbish. I turned it on. It was all Spanish. See, just when we thought Bias was having a serious conversation there, David says, can we send a Spurs fan to Russia?
Well, I wouldn't wish that on him.
No, I wouldn't either. I know well, lad. But yeah, I mean, look, it's another one. And again,
it's an interesting one. I mean, I'm sure there are other players at Seville that would be worth looking at if they've got to get rid of. If they've got to get rid of players, you've got to, because they're a decent side.
And apparently West Ham are after Cuadrado, the Colombian, the one who scored a penalty against England in the shootout.
France are out of the under-21 tournament.
They're out.
Yeah, lost 3-1.
Wow.
Mad.
Gosh. So
some team that as well.
So Ukraine play Spain then, and you're the semi. So it could be an England-Spain final.
Or Ukraine.
Or Ukraine, yeah. Could be, yeah.
A decent side to beat that French side.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be, couldn't it? I mean, look, again, we've seen these rumours going around. Apparently, Carrasco, his agents are offering him around because, something's happened there and they could be going. So, again, there's talk of them for us, but I'm thinking 29. Is he not a bit old for the profile that we're looking at? Maybe not. But again, you got to question why he's leaving, why he's being forced out of Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
What's his behind the scenes like? So again, it's one of them we do not know. One thing we are being linked with, and apparently, according to sources, according to Chronicle, apparently, Eddie Howe's interested in Antoine Griezmann. from Atletico. The only problem I have with that is he's 32 years of age.
This doesn't sound.
He's too old. Too old. Too old, I'm sorry, in my eyes. But that's why I'm quickly dismissing that one, because that's far too old.
It doesn't sound like a signing from our current setup.
Yeah.
That sounds like it'd be more of a commercial signing than a squad-based signing to me.
I know we got Trips, was quite old, but he wasn't that old.
Alan says Paqueta for Roly. No, Roly?
Is that about West Ham?
Yeah.
Well, he's not a striker, though, is he? He's not a player. But no, I mean, Paqueta was okay at the end of the season, but I think that if we were interested in Paqueta, we'd have signed him when we signed Bruno.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I want to see as well is all these players that are linked, right? Something's going to come up. What's going to happen is the club are going to be sitting there laughing at the media linking us with like Szoboszlai, Maddison. Maybe we visited Maddison last year and we did in January, but after that we probably said, stuff you, Leicester, we're not going to come from in the summer. And that's why he's ended up at Spurs. But I think this is just my opinion, and I think Tonali will be announced, and I think the club will announce a player. There'll be a player that just signs for Newcastle, and we're all going to just sit there and go, hang on, we didn't expect to see this player coming in the club. Wow, where have you getting hit? How have you getting this player in? How's nobody came up with his name? How's nobody, even be, so there could be one surprise signing that just, boom, wows everybody. Do you agree with that, Paul?
Yeah, it's happened for a few of our players so far. It's happened for Isaac. He wasn't he wasn't linked with us really until like 2 days before he signed. And it was the same with Bruno and Botman as well. They weren't linked too much until they were literally signing on the dotted line. So I can definitely see it happening.
Bruno Botman linked until we tried to get him off Lille, and they wouldn't. They're playing silly beggars. But Bruno, Tonali, Isaac, no one knew about them until we were actually at the point where Nixon and obviously in Isaac's case, Ashworth went out to visit the clubs personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, with the Antoine Griezmann thing, and I'm going to come into these comments in a moment. I mean, I know it said he's 32, and he does have qualities. Let's be honest, he does have qualities. We know he's got quality. We've seen it in the World Cup for France. I mean, look, Alan says Griezmann will do it for a season in the Champions League. I'm going to come to his stats in a moment anyway. And then Peaceful Smoke says, Paul, how many times was he out and out St. Max? You need more and more top fours like Kane or Money. You did well last season. Get a top player that you go for in the Champions League like Spurs did. Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that one. And then Gamer says, Antoine Griezmann will still be 10 times a player like Chris Wood is at 32. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Chris Wood is like nowhere near the player of Antoine Griezmann. But look, I'll go to his stats, right? And this is his stats last season in La Liga. And another thing I'm going to throw into there about Griezmann as well is Trippier knows him. And remember, we signed Trippier when he was 31. And I know that was a different reason because where we were in the league. But, right, so he's left-footed. His strengths are his positioning, his long balls, his playmaking. He can play in attacking midfield and up front. He started 31 out of 38 games last season for Atletico. He scored 15 goals and 16 assists in La Liga. That is the type of player he is. And you know, look, I know I said he's 32, and I don't. The only reason I was dismissing him because of his age was because when I see the way the club go for players, I just think at 32, will they really go for him? Because in an ideal world, yes, I would take him for a season or two because he could do a job still, because he is quality, and he's still playing for France at the highest level, you know. But that's the only reason I did have that like slight doubt that, oh, will we get him, because of the way the club are wanting younger players, because the club are wanting younger players who would have a resale value, you know, where Griezmann at 32 probably wouldn't. But I wouldn't totally rule it out if, you know, I mean, the sources are saying Eddie Howe really wants him, but again, you know, do we know that's true? I mean, Paul, your thoughts? Anton Griezmann, he's quality.
Well, Griezmann, he's a bit of a fan of Newcastle, to be fair. He always plays as us on Football Manager. He's posting on his Instagram and stuff. But I would certainly take him for probably 2 seasons max.
Yeah.
Because like you say, he is getting on a bit, and I can't really see him playing past 35, 36. But I still think he would do a job. It's just a question of if he can do it in the Premier League at this age, because it's a much more physical league than La Liga. So it could be tough with him getting on and going to a much more physical league, with him being a slight player as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Stuck the wrong
I have
picture.
more
Sorry, guys.
questions on what does he want to get paid?
Well, we don't know, Roly. That's the thing, we don't know.
I mean, I read an article, I can't remember what it was, that they were looking at how we decide whether we're going to go for a player. I had sort of like 4 questions. What's his temperament? How is he better than what we've got? Does he want to come? And how much is he going to cost? And if it's yes for all 4 of those, then he's in consideration. They're saying, like, for Maddison, he wanted too much money. And for Szoboszlai, they didn't think he wanted to come, which is why we didn't go for them. So that's the sort of process that they're going through. Age comes into it as well. It's a case of, would he want too much money? Is the question, because he's a top player. But everything's
That's a good question, Roly, but that's the $16 million question, isn't it? I mean, you know, nobody knows what he'd want money-wise.
Yeah.
But
people know. The people that know how much he wants are him and his agent, and then us if we actually contact his agent as a club.
Yeah.
But I think his age and his wages, I think, would be the biggest impediment.
Yeah.
For signing, not his ability.
I'm going to come back to your comment, 80s, but I'm going to go to Alan. He says, still top level at 32. Absolutely, Alan. What about Griezmann's wages, says Coffee. Jan says, watch France and they lost 3-1. And he says, Kefren Turam was not good at all. I can't comment because I didn't see the game, but yeah. Desiree has gone quiet. Alan says, Qual will be ready in 2 years. Yeah, Qual's been in Italy doing all his training, hasn't he? So, so that's a one to keep an eye on with where Qual goes next season. I mean, personally, I would say, if it was me, I would send him maybe Championship or League One. Maybe League One with Bristol Rovers, with Joey Barton. I think he could.
What about Middlesbrough if they wanted him?
Yeah. I'm just looking at this one that Bias put on. It's called Desiree Douy. He's gone quiet. I mean, look, he's an 18-year-old Frenchman who plays for Rennes. He's worth 15.5 million. He's got no outstanding weaknesses. His strengths is his ball control. He plays in midfield. He's box to box, so he can play everywhere and he goes everywhere. He got 3 goals and 11 starts out of 26 played. and he got an assist as well. 18 years of age, fits the profile. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't even realise we were linked with Desiree Douer, but if we are, then again, it looks like somebody that will bring in and maybe develop into a better player. So yeah, it's not a bad shout, that one. Alan says, still need another striker. Wilson can't last much longer with these injuries in another couple of years. Yeah, absolutely, Alan. I totally agree, mate. Absolutely, totally agree with you on that one. Right, I'm just going to go back to the start question from Gamer. And I'll just... and I'm also going to put this guy's picture on the screen as well. So he goes on to say, 80s Gamer, keep an eye on Federico Chiesa as he's apparently leaving Juve soon. Now, Pietro Snicks, who said we were in for Tonali, and everybody gave that guy a lot of abuse on Twitter, which I found very unfair, but he got it absolutely spot on. He's also come out tonight and he said, Chiesa is leaving Juventus, and everybody's having a go at this Pietro Snicks again, calling him deluded, things like that, and saying Juve will never get rid of him. Look, the way I look at it, I think there's interest there from us. I really do. I mean, Paul, look, Chiesa, yes, he had that injury, that cruciate ligament injury, which kept him out for 269 days. He's had some muscle strains and things like that. Most he's been kept out with them is 2 games. Now, we don't know how Max Allegri trains his team back in Italy at Juventus. So we don't know what his training methods are. Maybe Eddie Howe may see these injuries and think, yeah, we can sort that out. We can get around that and maybe stop him from getting these injuries. Because, as I say, it may be down to training methods why he's picking these little niggles up. He's a fantastic player. He likes the pressing game. He loves the intensity game. So it's right up his street, the game we play. So he'd fit perfect. And he's a winger, so you can play him on the wing. I mean, your thoughts, Federico Chiesa?
Well, I think he's been a quality player for a few years now. And obviously, Juventus, they're in a bit of trouble again, aren't they? They've been deducted points. I think they've been kicked out of the European competitions. So they're going to have to recoup some money somewhere. And he's certainly one of the players who will go for a fair bit. And he's definitely the type of player we need. He's quite tricky. He can score a goal. He's got his injuries, but it's an ACL. You can't really do much about that. You can just hope he gets better over time and he comes back from it stronger than what he was before. But I would 100% take him to Newcastle. He's a big upgrade on anyone we've got.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, look, he is quality. Yes, he's had a couple of injury hit seasons, but I've seen it from one fan on a channel, one podcast who put out there that he wouldn't take Chiesa whatsoever. He says Juventus can keep him. But and because he's going on about the cruciate ligament injury, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, whoa, before you start shouting about Chiesa staying, why didn't you kick up the fuss when we signed Callum Wilson? Because Callum Wilson in the past has had 2 ACLs in the last 2 years of football because of it. So,
not just that. Roger had an ACL, and we were kicking up the fuss about him staying at the club because he had an ACL. So, it's not a career ender anymore. Not like it was in the 80s.
So the thing is, I just don't get it. I mean, look, I would take him, and you would take him, wouldn't you, Roly, as well, Chiesa?
At the right price, yes.
At the right price, obviously, Roly. Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Jan comes up with this one. He says, Openda would be good, would be the striker we want at 23 from Lille, 22 goals. Right. So Louis Openda, he's Belgian, and he actually plays for Lons, not Lille, Lons. He's 23 years of age. He's currently been playing in the Euro under 21s. He started 29 out of 38 games, got Team of the Week 5 times in League 1 last season, scored 21 goals, and got 4 assists. He got 6 goals with his heads, 8 with his left foot, 7 with his right foot, and he didn't take any penalties. His accurate passing per game is 71%. Sofa score C is valued at around 38 million euros. I mean, I know RB Leipzig are looking at this player as well. So, you know, I mean, the stats are great for what he's done in League 1. They signed him from Club Brugge, so they got him from Belgium. So he's gone from Belgium. He's gone to Ligue 1, smashed it in Ligue 1. They only paid 9.8 million euros for him. I mean, you know, I don't know a lot about the lad. I haven't really seen him play a lot. I mean, but by those stats, I mean, Paul, he would be a good player to get in, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember at one point during the season he absolutely smashed PSG.
Yeah.
He's just absolutely clinical. As you can see, he's left foot and right foot. He can use his head, and that's all without penalty goals during the season. So you need that type of versatile player who's unpredictable up front, and he can provide that. And he's rapid as well. So you know, it's good to watch. He definitely good in our side.
I mean, his strengths are his high press, and his weaknesses, I see, is ball control and passing. But, you know, it's 23 that can be ironed out. I mean, you know, if I was to compare him to, say, Callum Wilson, which I'll do now, and I'll just, you know, so let's compare him to Callum Wilson. Right, so on attacking ability, Wilson comes out better than him by 3 points. Creativity, he's above Wilson on that. Technical ability, he's above Wilson. Defensively, he's above Wilson by 10 points. And on the tackling side, he's above Wilson as well. So, you know, there's a couple of similarities with him and Wilson, especially in the tagging threat. But, yeah, I mean, look, what about you, Roly? Louis Openda?
My question is...
Are you convinced now?
The guy from Seville, I forget his name. Is it El Nasri or something like that?
El Nasri.
El Nasri?
Yeah.
Would you say that he's better than him?
Definitely.
I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
Would you say he's better than El Nasri?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're saying if you weren't sure, if you get El Nasri for half the price?
I'll pay a double for Openda.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And you could get that structured as well.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about the guy, so I'll refer to my default setting is that if the club want him, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Paul says, I think something might happen with Jonathan David. Do you know what? That's not a bad shout either. I would take him as well. He's not a bad striker either. And Jan says, yeah, he now plays for Belgium as well. Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we're coming to the end of the show. So, I mean, look, we've had a great show. We've done a lot of looking at different transfers, a lot of, you know, so we've had a lot of different ones there. We've looked at and lots of different names. And I had Paul debuting tonight on the channel as well. Jan says he plays for Belgium. And there's also Bakayoko and Doku as well. Yeah, and Clarky says, great show, guys. Thank you very much. So what I normally do is I ask people where they can find you. So I'll come to my guest first, Paul. Do you want to let people know where they can find you on your socials?
Yeah, it's just the Twitter account you linked on your profile now, so go by 12th Man Toon as well. But I've not used that for a while. But, you know, might pop back up sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for coming on, and hope you enjoyed coming on tonight.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Yeah. Roly, Voice of Reason. Where can they find the Voice of Reason?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Poll67.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed, Roly. Alan says many options. Yeah, absolutely, Alan. Absolutely, mate. So for me, you can find me on Twitter down there at TonyTony31. Follow me on there and I'll follow you back. Also the same handle on Twitch as well. On Facebook, it's all Black and White TV. So if you click on to join there, I will get you in there. So that's that. And then also, before we do snap off, if you do like what you see, then please make sure you smash that like button. It really does help the channel. So if you haven't yet smashed that like, then please do so on the way out. Also, if you are brand new to the channel, then come and hit the subscribe button and come and join this great community. That is free to do so. Helps the channel grow, and that bell notification that will tell you when I'm live, have a pre-record or any upcoming shows as well. So currently on 726 subscribers now, so thank you very much indeed. If you do want to become a member and be part of member draws, then please join it. It's 99p per month, and you can do that if you want to hit the join button. It's totally voluntary and it's up to yourself, but yeah, you can be entered into a members draw, and that will happen every month. There may be one this month, depending on the number of members that we actually have. Also, if you did want to make a donation, you can click the $sign on the super chat option and make a donation that way as well. So yeah, and Clarky says, "Find me here, even OnlyFans." Oh, God's sake, Clarky, Jesus, OnlyFans. Yeah, so everybody knows where they can go and find Clarky now. He's let the cat out of the bag there, hasn't he? Ian says, "Great show, guys. Thank you very much indeed, Ian." Gareth says, "Thank you all. No problem at all, Gareth. Hope you have all enjoyed the show tonight. It's been a great show. And yeah, not sure what's coming up tomorrow yet, so keep posted for that one. But if you've hit the bell notification, you should be informed. I know Ian didn't get informed the other day, but you should really be informed when you've hit that bell. But sometimes this is the beauty of YouTube. Sometimes I do cock up. So, yeah. But anyway, remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. It's goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
Bye from me.
And Clarky says, "Thanks for the plug." You're welcome, Clarky. How are the lads?